Hello, fellow map makers. Welcome to this week's live mapping session. Happy to see you. And I'm Ralf Schemmann of Pro Fantasy Software, and I'm here to show you a bit of our mapping software. And this week specifically the Dioramas add-on. Hope you're all doing fine. As usual, if you have any questions during the stream, post them on the YouTube chat and Sue will collect them to forward them to me so I can answer them if possible. I see people are coming in. Very nice. Good to see you all. Apologies to those who are on awkward time zones for this. We're trying our best to put these in an accessible as time slot as possible, but I'm kind of limited on my time zone here. But let's get on to the mapping. What do I want to do tonight? I've got dioramas open here with a little example map, and dioramas, to be honest, is certainly one of our lesser used add-ons because it's got quite a specific remit, and that's not used by everybody. But I do love the functions it offers, and if you play with miniatures or do a bit of wargaming or just like to build models, it is a wonderful add-on to construct some paper models, print them out, and well, the assembling you have to still do yourself with paper cutter, glue, and cardboard paper. C3 Plus can't yet do that for you. Let's see how we get on with 3D printers in the future. So, and I don't want to use dioramas straight out of the box because I also want to show you how to get some new resource into it. So I'm building a science fiction structure or building. Actually, I've been puttering about with that for my own gaming purposes for a while, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to get you show you some of the options that dioramas offers. As you can see, I've got a template drawing here with some futuristic looking textures or modern looking textures and symbols from Cosmographer, and I'm gonna show you how to utilize those in Dioramas 3 tonight. But to start out, we need to create a new map, and for that, as usual, we go up to our file toolbar up here with all the file operations commands and all the add-on buttons showing on the right, and we click the new map icon. Dioramas has its own map type listed here. I see it's already pre-selected because I was using it, and from there we're just gonna click next, and we do have a few styles available. The selection is quite a bit lower than our usual overland or dungeon stuff. Well, that's just because it's not used as often, and we try to tailor our extra material to the add-ons that are used most often, naturally. But we do have some options available for dioramas, and I'm gonna take the bitmap A option, which is similar to some of the city designer and dungeon designer material, matching bitmap fills, and has the most realistic looking bitmap fills, I'd say. So this is a good place to build on for my science fiction material. I'm going to click next, and you will notice that Dioramas does not offer you to set the size of the map. That's because it's set up to always be printable, and for that you have to have a fairly fixed drawing size. So this option is disabled here. And actually we don't need any of the other options at this point. We'll just click finish, and we are gonna start our new map here. Save it under a new name, And here's our grid where we can draw on. Basically, dioramas construction sets are drawn in real-world units, so you'll be drawing in feet or meters, feet in this case, and the page is set up so that you can always print it on a US letter or DIN A4 size paper. Those are the most common ones in people's homes. Whatever scale you want to print them at. For the scaling, we have these buttons here at the bottom. Basically, clicking one of these will execute a macro that will print at the correct scale for these types of miniatures. So we don't worry about what size we need our building for to start, and we'll just then later click the button and all the scaling will be done automatically for us. Otherwise, it doesn't have a fancy map border or background because all the aim is to create something printable on a blank sheet of paper. Alright, so what do we need? Let's take a look at the options we have for our panels. A panel is basically a section of our model that's straight and not folded or glued to something else. Basically one of the walls of our building we are planning to build. And we do have a lot of different options here. You can see all the Dio 3A stuff is settings from the bitmap A style. And we already have stuff like metal and plaster textures, all stuff we can use in our science fiction type building. Of course, also some stuff which is more ancient, like stonework, wood logs, stuff like that. But we do want something more metal. I was thinking of building a comms tower, basically a large tower with a satellite dish at the top, and we can. For that we do need some other bitmap texture, something from Cosmographer, and to define such a panel, the options in here, we will need to import these bitmaps from Cosmographer first. So let's do that. We're gonna do draw, insert file, and then we need to navigate to our program data folder. For me, that's on the D drive, but it will usually, if your Windows installation is on the C drive and you haven't changed anything, on the C drive, and then the folder program data, CC3 Plus option, and then the system folder and the fill styles folder. And in here you'll have reference files for most of the different styles, which contain all the bitmap fills, and I'm looking for the Cosmographer one. I'm just going to open and insert this into the map. We can zoom out, we can just place that. It's not strictly necessary, but just to show you, these are all the different textures from Cosmographer. Now I'm just going to undo this. And now our bitmap fills are in the drawing. You can do this with any kind of other campaign cartographer styles. Just import a map containing the bitmap files into your Cone 1 and it will add the bitmap files to your fill styles. So if you zoom up here, see the ceramics bitmaps is already from Cosmographer. And here are the different hull textures. This is the one I was looking for my tower. So let's cancel this and go back into the diorama options. Now we're going to go to the advanced dialog. And here we're going to find a new setting, something with our new bitmap fill. So I'm just going to click New. And we're going to call this battered hull. because that's the name of the cosmographer texture. And everywhere else we can set the options for the different layers and fill styles and sheets. Stuff is gonna go. We don't need to change most of that here. We just need to choose our background fill. So let's go up to the whole section. Here's our battered hole. And there's our new panel section. Alright, now on to the construction part of our drawing. I want to draw a high and narrow tower. And I'm thinking I could just simply do a square one. So we're just going to start by drawing one of the sides and just put down. So I'm laying it on this side because it's better aligned here. Oh, actually, it's already a step too much. Let's start up by putting it up here like this. This would be one side of our tower. Now we've got to imagine this is folding. We've got this four-sided square base of the tower, and we fold it out. So we need four of the same panels right next to each other. So that's our basic shape. And what we then need at one point is a glue tab. And Dioramas has an option command for that. It's a tab here. Click that. Just click on the side of the panel somewhere. Set the size of your tab. And this way we could print this out, fold it at the separation of the different panels, and then glue the last one to the first one, and we have a square base of the tower. But it would be hollow and a bit boring actually, because it's just a square footprint. Okay, I'm already seeing in the comments that people spotted my CC4 folder again. Yes, we are of course working on a CC4 and we are trying out things, and what you were seeing was the program data folder for our development version of CC4, and so there's stuff in there but nothing I can show yet, so you'll have to be a bit more patient before we come out with more information about CC4. But back to dioramas. So what I want actually octagonal footprint of the tower. Make it a bit more interesting. And so I do need some more section between the different sides. What I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a more narrow panel between each of the other ones. That way I don't have a equal-sided oh, I think I forgot to grab the tab. Oh, the cat is there. Hi, other. Need to get your tail out of my video camera. So, a bit distracted here. Let's put that correctly. What we also can do, we can just simply copy existing pieces. So we just need a copy of this smaller panel. Move this one back. Add another copy of the panel. Move this one. And the final one. See, I've got the cursor snap on, so everybody falls into place quite easily without me having to do much thinking. So I do have 4 larger sides and 4 smaller ones, which will be the diagonal pieces of the octagon. It's not equal-sided, but doesn't matter here, so I'm good as it is. Again, I've got a tube basically now. If I cut this out and fold it, now with a more interesting footprint, but still it's going to be open at the bottom and the top. So what we need is a top or bottom for our tower here. We could, if we just imagine, if we had a square, where I could just put a square panel up here, add the glue tabs, and that would have been exactly right to close the top. But now that I've got the different footprint, I don't know that this will not be the right shape. So I do need an octagon up there. But how do I know how this octagon is going to look to match my tube I'm creating? Well, for that I can measure distances in Campaign Cartographer. If I say info distance and see how wide one of my larger panels is, that's 5 feet. And we've got one of the smaller panels, that's half that size, 2.5 feet. I can also judge that from the grid, but I just wanted to show you the distance command. So I do need an octagon with 5 foot long sides and 2.5 feet smaller sides. I'm gonna draw a polygonal panel. Gonna start out with the base side. I know that's the 5 foot. And now I'm tempted to put the next point here, right on my grid. But if you've got your geometry down, you know that this is not 2.5 feet. This is a different measurement. To have using the grid, I can't put the point in the space I need, and creating the matching grid will also be difficult. What I do need, I need to put in the coordinates manually. And for that, we do have a very nice feature. If I click on the the coordinate indicator here, we have angular coordinates that give me basically the angle and distance from the last point, and I can enter these for the next point. So starting from this point, I need to go the smaller icon. Actually, I should put the, let's start over and actually put the floating prompt display on screen so you can see this better, what I'm typing in here. Again, let's start the polygonal panel, draw the first line, and for the next point I'm gonna put in the smaller than sign. That's indicator that what I'm putting in is angular coordinate, and it's at 45 degrees from my current point, and the distance is 2.5 feet, separated by a comma. And there you can see Campaign Cartographer put down the correct point for my octagon. So the next will be, again, I'm going up 90 degrees and 5 feet. So zoom out a bit. Next up, I'm going 135 degrees and 2.5 feet. And there I've managed to crash my map. Alright, I probably typed something bad in there. Too bad. Here you can see one of my pre-existing models. I was going to show that in a bit. Or hidden in behind. Let's start campaign cartographer again. Oh no, we've lost everything we've worked on so far. Let's see whether our autosave can help. File, open autosave drawing, and there we can see campaign cartographer fortunately saved most of the work we've done so far with the autosave command. Just don't forget to resave the autosave file as the one you want to work on. Otherwise you'll be overwriting, not saving anything, because you're overwriting the autosave file with the current state all the time. Where are my videos? There's my videos. Comms tower. Alright, guess we have to redo that. Smaller at 45 degrees and 2.5 feet. I think I probably typed in the @ sign instead of the smaller sign. Last one, and I didn't know that would crash the program. Good thing to note down and fix. 6.0 degrees and 5 foot. And okay, I've already done a mistake here. It should have been 90 degrees. Okay. .5 degrees, 2.5, 90 degrees and 5 foot up, and 135 degrees. 0 degrees is straight to the right, and then you're going anti-clockwise in the mathematical direction of the angles. 0.5. It's looking better. Then I'm going 180 degrees and 5 foot again. Next I'm going I can say minus 135, that means I'm going the other way around. And 2.5 feet. We need one more. So I'm going down minus 90 degrees and 5 foot. And now I can use my grid again. And here's my octagonal shape in the correct size. One quick check, if you want to do that, is to draw a circle around some point and see whether these 2 points are the same distance from each other. Let's do a hollow and make this a nice strong color. See, my line goes through the 2 points exactly. It's this diagonal line is the exact same length as the width of our smaller panel here. So one thing you'll notice that I'm now past my drawing area, which is no problem while drawing, but it can become a problem when I'm printing the map, that it won't fit the page anymore at the scale I want to print at. So what I tend to do in that case, see whether I can fit my shape onto the drawing area in a different way. For that, I'll just select everything, choose a point here, and use the Shift and Control keys to place to rotate the entities, and seeing here that still fits our shape. And I can always go in here and erase stuff. That's stuff that I don't need here at the moment. I can put in my title and stuff for the map. So when imagine cutting this out and folding it, this goes on top and closes our shape to the top. And putting this on the table, we probably would not need something at the bottom, but sometimes that's handy so the shape, the whole structure is more stable. So let's just copy this piece over to the other side here. And well, at the bottom we might want a different fill, something Earth-like or so. Perhaps we want to lay this down, a falling tower or so. So we are gonna change the fill for this, and Dioramas is a handy option for that because that's a common thing you want to do. So you just use the change panel fill style here. Click the edge of the object, press D for do it, and here you can change the foreground and the background of the panel at the same time. We don't need to change the foreground, we just need to change the background, and here we'll just choose one of the dirt styles. And so there, that way we know that we've got our bottom down. So we do need a few more gluing tabs because we need to glue the top and the bottom to the rest of the stuff. And the easiest to do this is to simply attach some tabs to the edges of our octagons here. I can turn off snap here to have this be a bit more free in the width. Don't overdo it, so you don't get into problems with cutting stuff out, but the tabs should also be wide enough so you have something to put the glue on actually. Down here, yeah, that should be fine. Go. Could do the same with the here on the other side. What we can also just do is use the mirrored copies option. Select all the tabs here. Oops. Should not select the button here. Do it, and for center, this is the center. There we've got the tabs on the other side. Erase the text. I could put a tab in here. Actually, we should probably do that. We could argue to leave it out because it's going to be a bit harder to cut this out here. But what you can actually do is just cut there with a paper cutter. That should make it fairly easy. And if you don't need it and you feel too awkward when you're assembling the stuff, you can always not cut it out and just remove it when after you've printed the model. Okay, so far so good. So perhaps we do want to add a little ornaments or ornamentation or details to the side of the tower, and here we can, for example, we could say we want a couple of these sides to be in different texture. Let's use the change panel fill style again, and use it on 2 of the smaller panels, opposite sides. And choose the lattice here. It's a nice little difference in the sides of the tower. And we can also switch to our cosmographer settings and check whether the catalogs have something that we might want to use. For example, we've got these, oops, what did I do there? There we go. Say I want to put, I'm going to construct an antenna for the top here later on, and I could put something to put it on. So I can just take one of the cosmographer symbols, scale it up a bit, place it on top of the tower. Unfortunately, we don't have any side doors because cosmographer is top down and we would need a side view of a door here. But we can make do. We've got some. I was gonna. We do have some lifts. Right, it's in the up and down catalog. Here, there it should be. So take this external lift that can work quite nicely as a door in the side of the tower. So let's just scale it down a bit. Turn on snap and put it down here at the side. And we do have some consoles. And zoom in a bit. Can scale this up somewhat and put it on the side of the door as a control piece. And this way you can add additional stuff to the symbols, to the layout, and print it all in one go without having a need to paint your structures or anything. See, let's have a look here. Can put some lights, modern looking lights on the top of the tower here. And so on. So we have the basic shape of our construction, and now what I want next is some kind of pole at the top of the tower where I'm going to fix my antenna to. And for that I'm just going to draw a fairly narrow square pole, still fully modeled, so it does have some strength. If you just print out a strip of paper or cardboard, it will not have the strength to hold up anything. And for that I'm gonna make the add a couple more snap divisions to the grid, so I can draw a little finer. And let's start out. Okay, first up we're gonna need a new setting here for our panels. Where's our better tool? Let's start with that and create a new one. So perhaps our pole up there is just a lattice of metal rods. And we're going to choose the lattice floor, pole catch, no, the floor lattice, there we are. That's the one I wanted to. And let's draw this here. Let's make it 3 high. Go. And again, we do need... No, that's what was not what I needed. Down here. Okay, and what I was gonna do, I'm gonna make the two opposing sides of the pole not the same height. So I basically have a diagonal ending to the pole at the top. So I'm gonna do it like this. And what I then need, I need to move the edges of the other two so they have their diagonal side between the upper end of the pole and the lower end of the pole. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reshape and stretch the corner. That allows me to stretch multiple points in the same go. I'm going to select the point and move it down here. I'm going to do the same in the opposite direction with this point. See, now you can see how it fits together and creates this shape. Nice diagonal shape at the top. Let's add a tab to the side. And now we do need an ending here for this one. This is a bit more complicated again because we have the diagonal side, and here I can show you how to, but we do only need a rectangular tab, and this is easy to create. I just choose rectangular tab to take these 2 points, and then I need the width here, and for that we can set our angle again. Use the... Actually, no, that's because I'm not at a 45 degree angle. That's a bit more complicated. So let's put in a construction step in between. Let's add. Don't want to work on the merge layer. That's not a good idea. Instead, we are gonna draw a helpful circle here. This is a circle with the radius of the width of the lattice rod here at the defined, and this we can use this to fix our rectangle to the correct distance. You can see turn off snap, and now we can use the on modifier F9 to fit our shape exactly to the correct width. Now we're gonna erase that again, and here I can show you a bit. See, like the texture is not now correctly aligned to the sides of our rectangle. It would hardly be noticeable in the final printout, but it would be on larger panels, so, and with more distinct textures. So I'm just going to show you how to fix this. I'm going to right click the polygon, and I'm going to create a shaded polygon, angle by edge. And we just need to select the low straight edge, and I got the wrong one. Chose the polygon down here, so that was wrong. There we go. We take that edge. You can see it's now correctly, texture is correctly aligned to our off polygon here. Again, we're gonna need a few tabs. Let's not make them too wide, otherwise it's gonna get awkward. And down here I think we're not gonna need anyone. Here I could put, for the bottom, I can just put in a regular square side. We go and tabs for that. So that's going to be the antenna rod. I'm going to attach that to the top of the tower here. And now I need basically a dish at the top. That's going to be a bit more complicated. Especially if I could just do a circle and leave it at that. But instead we are going to do a bit of construction here. And for that, I'm just gonna go to the upper left here and see how we can do that. Let's base our dish on the octagon. Again, for that I'm gonna sketch a regular polygon. It asks me for the number of sides. We want 8 sides for an octagon. Don't snap. Center, and then we can just this size is for the center of the dish is probably quite fine. And now I basically need the panels that go off from that, and if I just drew another regular polygon at the same here and put in a couple of construction lines. See, the thing is, if I drew it like this, then it would still be a flat area. It was just be octagonal. If I leave a bit of a gap here and make the outer side not quite as wide, then I'm gonna have, then fold it. It's gonna go on the, well, that's a bit hard to describe. It's gonna be a shallow bowl basically. So let's show you. If I'm gonna do this and draw the line to here. Let's also do one in the center. Gonna erase this line and this line for the moment. And now I'm gonna do a mirrored copy of this one. And the mirror line is the center one I've drawn here. Here we go. Now I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna trim this, edit, where are my trims? Yep, trim to entity. I'm gonna trim these 2 lines to this entity. Now I'm gonna move these end lines to the corners. Again. Now I'm gonna use trim again and trim them to the outer section here. And now I'm gonna trim the whole. Don't have all my buttons in here in the limited display for the video, so I'm going to go through the menu again. I'm going to break the polygon and then gonna trim the rest again to this and to this. So just I have one of the panels here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do a copy of this all around the octagon. So for that I'm gonna do a circular array. Use these. Do it. I want 8 spokes. Just one ring. And the center is supposed to be my octagon again. Copy origin the same point. 45 degrees. Angle is fine. And there's my outer panels of the satellite dish. Now I can fill this or create, do this as a panel. So let's see, what do we use for our dish? Perhaps we are going to create a new setting again. Call it satellite dish. And here we're going to use, what will we use for this? The chrome. Oh, let's just use this for just to try it out. And we can, here at Dioramas panel, we can convert entities to panels. And we're going to do this with the octagon in the middle. Well, that's okay. And these are not just lines, they are not full entities, so we can't convert them, but we can just use our endpoint modifier to follow these along. And now do a circular array again, basically the same as previously. Do it. Oh, I choose the rectangular array by accident. I want the circular array. Do it 8 spokes, 1 ring, centers is still the same. I do need to click the copy origin in the middle. And there we go. Now we can erase by color and erase everything with our construction color. Just make sure we just take these here. And there's the shape for our satellite dish. And we would need a few glue tabs here as well, though it's probably easiest if you just draw a line here to connect these and let the space between those be the gluing tab. You just cut out, when you're assembling it, cut out one corner, and then you have that. One more thing. This is one of the cases where if we print this out and assemble this, we will have just one side printed with color, the other side with the reverse side of the paper, and will be blank. So what we do need a reverse side of this, and you can do that by just attaching a mirror copy of the panel to the other side and fold it over when printing it out. Basically what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to mirror copy this piece here along its own edge. So we're going to use this as the mirror line with the endpoint modifier. So you can see you'll just fold that over after you've printed it. And now we are going to do this magical circular array again. I'm going to do these on both of these items. Do it. Its box, one ring, array center should be this, as there should be the copy origin. And there we go. Now you just need, again, to go on the back of the assembled dish, another copy of the base octagon. So we're going to copy that. Not this piece. From this point, just to one of the panels, and see that will then fold on the back of our satellite panel. And we do have a satellite panel that we can glue on the top of our antenna pole, and then we'll have a nice metal octagonal tower with a satellite dish at the top. See, and I'm going to save this, and at this point now you would decide which scale you want to print that at. You know, I'm a bit outside my printing area here with the satellite dish. What I can always do, if I wanted to be sure, I'll just create a new drawing and put the satellite dish onto that. But it's, of course, it's always nice to have to save as much paper, especially if you're printing on cardboard. So you try to fit as much stuff as you can onto one map. So what we can do, we can move this stuff a little bit to the right. We do have a little bit of space here still. This point, I'm not too bothered about having it. Oh, I didn't select everything. Let's try again. There we go. And then we're going to take this and going to rotate it a bit so it fits better. Still not quite enough, but we'll have try our luck. I do have A4 paper anyway, which is a bit wider than or longer than US letter paper, so it should still fit. Let's have a look. Let's print it at 28mm scale, typically. Oh yes, Sue just makes me aware that I missed a few of the tabs when I moved the stuff. Always easy to fix. Just zoom in with the endpoint modifier, grab one of the corners and put it on the corner where it belongs again. That's better. If you're finished, click the button here. It will ask you whether you really want to print. The problem here is that it automatically uses your default printer, and I think I have the wrong printer here set as the default for my drawing, so I'm just gonna stop it at this moment. You'll see that the macro hides the the buttons so they don't get printed. To show them again, just go into your sheet list and unhide the buttons sheet. Now we're gonna click here and see I didn't want to print to OneNote. Instead, I want to print to PDF. Okay. You can, of course, print normally from your external print dialog, but then you have to fiddle with the scaling settings yourself to get them right. So instead, I'm going to use the button again with the PDF printer selected, and then it will just save the file. Takes a moment, and here's my PDF. And as you can see, it does fit quite nicely on a sheet of A4 paper. And we're just going to print that, and then you can go into more detail and exactly highlight which lines you need to cut and which you need to score with the tools, but that's normally not necessary. If you're only doing it for yourself, then you'll know what to cut and what to score with when assembling the model. But if you're doing it for other people to do, that might be useful. Let's have a final look at whether we've got any questions to answer. So ask, how do you know if you've done the tabs right? Basically, the tabs are experience in one point, but you have to have in mind which side you glue to what other piece. But it's always easy to add or remove tabs during the construction when you've got the stuff printed out and never have it lying before you. Check then. To know exactly which piece needs a tab is a bit of experience to see, or I guess spatial imagination to know what will go where at the end. Unfortunately, the dioramas can't automatically tell you where tabs go automatically. And the other question I think I've already answered. If you've got too much stuff for one page, you simply start a new drawing and put the stuff on the next drawing. And normally, if you're just extending the stuff a little bit beyond the grid, then you'll be fine, especially if you're not printing at the highest miniature size. If the lower the miniature size, the more space you have on the page. Yes, on the PDF print, if you have a high DPI setting, then the Quentin asks, says they cannot see the white tabs in the PDF. They are actually there, but they were fairly faint. That's because I have a very high DPI setting on the PDF print, and it's just a zero width line, so it gets very faint on the printout. You'll still see it when you actually printed it out, but if you need it stronger, you can either reduce the DPI setting of your print, or what you can do, you can go to your lines sheet, hide all. Oh, actually they are not on the lines sheet. My diorama stuff is there on the outline, I guess. No, they are just all on the tabs. Yeah. What you can do, you can make them wider, give them the lines of width in Campaign Cartographer, and that way they'll be much more visible on the printout. or what you can do, you can set your tab options here in your settings, and you've got the tabs here, and can add the fill color for the tabs, a gray or something, and that way you'll use up a little bit of fingerprint for those areas, but it will be much easier to see them on the printout. Yes, see the model on the forum. I'll see whether I can print and assemble this one, and perhaps tweak it a little bit more. But what you can see, this is one of the models I've done before I started on using the Cosmographer bitmap fills. Actually, this is without any bitmap fills. This is just white paper, black spaces for the windows and doors. And what I can do, I can show you a bit of the model for that. See, this is already added with the Cosmographer textures. Actually, I've used a bit of a sheet effect on the walls to make them white or beige. You can see that this is the bottom of the building with a lattice grid and some piping added. The outer walls are in this off beige. Some frames to go around the windows that give the whole thing a little 3D texture. These are meant to be bases or pillars where the whole thing rests on. These are basically octagonal rings that get glued to the bottom, which I've not actually done in my model, but which you could do. And this is just one half of the building. Basically, it's the bottom and two sides, because the model is too large to go on one piece of paper. Let's have a look on the one of the other sides here. This is just, I think this was just the first test. That's the bottom. And this is the white version. And the other side, this is the roof, basically, and the other two sides. And you can vary the windows on these and put different doors and stuff on. Well, what you see is still very much a project under construction. But I do have a nice comms tower to go with the whole thing now. And perhaps I can build that and show that off. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's excursion into dioramas. See a little bit what can be done. It does involve a little bit more of construction, using the CAD tools, like you see me using the mirror functions and the angular coordinates to put down points, and basically it goes a little bit more into the CAD side of things, instead of just building beautiful landscapes with symbols or drawing floor plans. So in a way, it's more at goes to the legacy of Companion Cartographer from its CAD origin. And that should be it for tonight. As usual, I hope I see you again next week. Hope you enjoyed this, and see you again soon. Have a good night. Bye bye.